O'clock on a Monday afternoon here that's turning into a bit of a sideways chop once again. After an initial move goes to the high side, we come all the way back to basically flat right now for the NASDAQ. 0.3, we're holding on to a little bit of a gain. 0.43, meanwhile, downside for the S&P 500. A lot of that coming from energy stocks right now. I was just reading through some comments. Sharif was making the comment this morning. Microsoft CEO testifying at this Google antitrust case. Today saying some pretty harsh things as far as Google's monopoly in search, specifically mobile, to the downside right now. 1.5% still positive on the day for Google, but coming off a little bit right now. So just be aware of that. But still a lot of strength coming from big tech today. Full percent for Microsoft, Meta, same story, Google, NVIDIA, and Apple. All up nicely. NVIDIA specifically. We'll talk about why here coming up in a second. Amazon still 1.4. Costco even having a nice day in the retail group, up 0.8. The rest, though, very, very negative. Tale of two stories today. There's big tech and then the rest of the market essentially downside today, including Tesla, just 0.3. But we saw what happened out of the gate this morning with those delivery numbers that came out much worse than expected. I mean, not much worse, but still downside, worse than expected. Utilities wanted to mention as well. Across the board, red. Energy across the board, red. Healthcare stocks, same story. Banks even across the board, red. JP Morgan now down 1.3% on the day. Oil basically back to day lows as we get going here this afternoon as well. Just be aware, Fed's bar is still making some comments here. This was kind of interesting. Generative AI could potentially improve productivity growth quickly. Generative AI could also eliminate some jobs. So, yeah, talk about towing the line as far as having an opinion. Fed's vice chair of supervision is Fed's bar, says potentially positive and negative implications from AI could be quite large still. So we'll touch on some of these AI names coming up. If you remember back on Friday, I want to say it was, we were talking about LAC, Lithium America, in late stage negotiations with the U.S. government on a potential $1 billion, with a B, $billion loan to further develop their Arizona lithium mine. This was from the Nikkei, suggesting that the Chinese government looking at bringing a lot of that back in-house as well, as far as their country is concerned. Few things to touch on as we get going here. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on Google here. This testimony still going on with Microsoft CEO and the Google antitrust case. Here's Microsoft now back below 1% on the day. But we were touching this morning on why this thing was higher, and it was Wells Fargo adding it to their quote-unquote Q4 tactical list. They still get more and more creative with these lists, but positive note anyways for Microsoft, guys.
Yeah, they're just making stuff up with these tactical lists, conviction, blah, 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 like whatever. I don't know, like it doesn't really matter. Actually, this stock, it's actually not bad today with the 1% to the upside. So, catalyst be damned, whatever you think of it, it is doing a lot better than the market. It is big tech holding it up, and this would be one of the names that's doing so. Whether or not we can hold on to 14.9, I think decides the fate of this and other names. I'm pulling out the 15-minute chart so you can see it could be forming a bit of a failed break at the 320 level, lower high right now at 319. You can see that there. So there's your head and shoulders look. If we don't hold on to 14.9, I think this just joins the party underneath VWAP. For now, showing a little bit of signs of strength. Got eyes on a couple of other names in here. Microsoft never really set up all that excitingly, unfortunately, and I think there's a few other names that'll be more interesting. But the 319 is telling you the story. That's where if it breaks out, it's got a lot of room to the upside. The market, however, really running out of steam. It's like everything is dragging these few tech names that are holding up the market a bit to the downside. I wonder what's going on with that look there. We're missing like half my chart. All good.
Yeah, all good. You guys can see sort of the damage that we've been doing here. You can see the positions that I currently have on short AMD and short XOM. So, the story is what it is. But since we're on Neil's screen, let's just go back to the big desk.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about a few things here. We were discussing this morning. You mentioned that Microsoft CEO was going to be testifying at this Google antitrust case, and some Pretty interesting comments coming across here. I was just mentioning as we came on there at 2 o'clock in regards to especially the mobile side of things, how they are so dominant in the search for mobile devices right across the board. So Microsoft not liking Google in that sense right now.
Yeah, it's a tough look. I mean, what Apple's been saying all along is that Google is paying them, you know, to basically to be the #1 search, but that it's open to the user if they want to flip, right? And they've made it easier for you to flip. You can go DuckDuckGo, you can go to Bing, go to a plethora of other ones. So we're going to have to wait and see how the judge looks at this, but this, the FTC has already made their perspective very clear.
Yeah, and it's the out-of-the-box default across the board that they seem to be pointing the finger at. Here's Apple, meanwhile, 1% to the upside. Nice day holding on to key support here, guys. We got, it wasn't much on Apple this morning. We were talking about an iPhone 15 fix, apparently in the works on the software side of things. They pointed to a couple of apps not working together nicely as far as this overheating issue is concerned, that they're going to apparently fix with a software update.
Liking DuckDuckGo. Just a couple of things. I guess maybe we'll come back to the chips in a second. We'll talk a little bit about the chips in a bit, but Apple, it's holding on better than most, up 1.2%. We showed you Microsoft was up 1%. It's big cap tech trying to hold on. 173 has been pretty good support in there. I've drawn this in here for a decent resistance level. It's like 173 half-ish, maybe like a 60, 75 for a potential break back out. If Apple gets past this line, I think hopefully at that point you're holding 14.9. I think you're testing back to 15,000, and then it can be a breakout to the upside. If we don't get past here, I think you look for the shorts in some of the big cap tech names. Using Apple as the strongest of the bunch. Just to quickly go over the chips, I didn't want to ignore what's going on with NVIDIA. It's back underneath VWAP. This is, percentage-wise, this is the one that's moving the most out of the Mag 7, I want to say. I don't know if it's still holding up at that 2.6. But it just ran right into the 50-period moving average on the daily, and that's where the right turn has occurred. So you get right in there. It's about that 450 level. Big rejection off 450, and then the lower high as well. So you've got multiple names. 319 on Microsoft. Call it the 173 half on Apple, and then right here at about 449 on NVIDIA. We don't hold on to these and hold on to your butts, hold on to your shorts. I'm really only short one of those, probably not going to care too much what happens to the market at all. But in terms of looking for some of the big cap tech names, it feels like we're giving these levels up. And if you break some flat bottoms, this looks an awful lot like the flat bottom break on Rivian. If you take out the 444 on NVIDIA, be a similar thing if 72.5 went on Apple. And you can look at Microsoft. Once those are gone, look out below, the NASDAQ turns red.
Okay, today's been basically, if you could write a book about how to trade off support, I feel like this would be it right here on Apple. It's the #1 stock today, P&L-wise. It's been pretty simple off 173. We've just been buying it over and over and over again and just cashing it out every single time. So it continues to win, and that's what we're doing. It's the same thing that we're doing here on AMD. Look at these shorts, 103. Give me a break. I mean, sometimes trading is just this easy, honestly. And it's just like when it breaks, you get out. And it's just today, nothing's been breaking. So now it goes to the downside. We've almost doubled, maybe tripled our net since I last saw you at 11 o'clock. So this is the trading that's been happening. We've been sitting here and just making smart trades, right? Shorting into there. We talked about XOM today. Not only did we talk about it, but I gave this to everybody on the midday show literally right when I took it. And Sharif was like, what are you in? And it turned out that I was in AMD and XOM. So there we go. We just took some out down there at 115 again. So back in and out here. Like I said, man, look at this. Like it just keeps on, the hits just keep on coming and coming and coming right now. So based on that one, we'll just do this as well. Because we did miss what was for lunch today. So what was for lunch today? Look at AMD, by the way, is absolutely cranking to the downside. We could not be happier with this. But it was tandoori grilled chicken with curried zucchini chickpea and steamed basmati rice. So all good on that front. Shout out to Nimit and company that wanted to know what was for lunch, but we didn't get it until after the show there this morning. So there it is, man. Our net just keeps on climbing. So let's go back to the desk, and I'll have to start making some decisions here.
Yeah, let's touch on NVIDIA. Goldman Sachs adding it to one of their positive lists today. But as we saw on that board when we came on, I was showing you the sector board. Definitely a pretty good day for NVIDIA, whether it's on that note or whether it's on these AI comments right now from FedsBar. Still 2% here for NVDA.
Yeah, it's been a good look. I mean, I was talking this morning about a new chip that they could possibly, the B200 or some sort of chip. I forget. It was not the H100. It was a new one. It was supposed to be released in the second quarter of 2024. That would be basically following the current cycle that they have for releases. But there's been talk now about bringing it up a smidge because to capitalize on the rampant demand that there is at the moment for these GPUs. So we'll have to wait and see. If it does, it'll bring forward earnings.
Still within the range. Obviously, yeah, we're going to get into said earnings coming up here in a week or so, but still within the range overall on the daily chart here, guys.
Yeah, well, kind of went over NVIDIA as we skipped it, so I'm not going to double down. I mentioned that one again. We can look at those levels. 444, you saw it rolling back over to the downside. Intel was weak all day long in the chip sense. It got into 36 even, which at this point, going to draw a line in the sand at that level and continue to trade off of it. You went all the way top to bottom. I did reload it, was heading back down into 35.5, and then it stopped out. But we're right back into Friday's bottom. So it's come full circle, 36 top, 35.20 bottom. Looks like a decent double bottom here. If the market's going to hold up, I actually think Intel doesn't look that bad for a long off this 34. It's 34.15 is the actual low. It doesn't really look that bad for a long off the absolute bottom here in chip land. Not the only one that's looking relatively weak. We didn't really talk too much about sort of some of these names. Underneath, come on. Okay, Micron. Oh, this chart's going to load. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right, my Micron chart hates me. Micron, another name which rejected a pretty big high. Maybe my daily chart. There we go. Another that rejected a pretty big high. It's just trying to get back above the 50 period. 68, it will be a key for the close. This was a very bullish bounce off of earnings. So when you look at the trend that Micron is on, a close above 68 today, especially with the market being weak, if it can get back to green, close positive, I think it's not a bad consolidation area for Micron. The key with this name is, look, like a lot of other things, the sell-off came on the earnings, which didn't really matter how you reported. Sometimes it's where the stock had been, and then it's holding the trend. And every time it's held the trend, it has broken the 50 period and gotten into the 70s. If that's going to be the case, then this has a few dollars worth of room to go. So today, I'm looking for it to close above 68, then I'd be looking long tomorrow. As far as Intel goes, the short might be done. That bottom 35.15 from yesterday, from Friday's close, looks like it'll be, or bottom, should be pretty good here for potential long. If it gets to VWAP, maybe a short, but 35.15 looks like a long on Intel.
We've just been, the only chip name that we were looking at today was AMD. And we just got a great print on that. We've been short. Well, we went long early off 103 first, dropped that out, and now AMD, just another positive name over here. So far so good with AMD. Let's just wait to see if it continues to hold 103. Any kind of pop-ups, you like to short it. Play the weaker name, right? NVIDIA's up today, AMD is down. NVIDIA got upgraded, AMD didn't. So we'll just continue on the same old right here, watching that one. And then we also did have a pretty good trade on Intel. Oh no, yeah, it was on Intel earlier. Intel's a positive stock for us. We went long here off 35.50, got out at 35.80 before eventually losing the bid there. Now it's starting to go to the downside as well. So I feel like Intel, AMD, obviously the weak names. And we did look at Micron a little bit, but didn't trade anything on this name. Yeah, okay, so yeah, nice little top side there of 69 coming in there for Micron, but we left it alone. What does Micron look like here? I was still waiting. Yeah, so 69 probably a decent area for some support, or I guess resistance at that level there. 69. So back in on Micron, we could possibly do something. But yeah, man, right now we're just 55 cents in the money on AMD, and we're just going to hold that for now. If it comes back up, we'll relook at it.
Just seeing this ICU little stock that went early on this morning, starting to get going again, back to day highs here. Now 65% on huge volume. So heads up on that. I also saw a note on Disney. They're going to follow in Netflix footsteps with password sharing crackdown for Disney Plus. So day highs coming. I mean, the whole market ticking to the upside here. So we'll keep an eye on a couple of things. Moving around so far this afternoon, yeah, we're touching on not only Chinese EV deliveries, but Tesla kind of came out of nowhere today and dropped that in everyone's lap as well. Tesla right back to basically flat on the day at this point after that big flush to the downside after Q3 deliveries missed. Chinese deliveries, I mean, yeah, they were positive on a year-over-year basis, but still trending to the downside too.
Yeah, well, China is closed this week, Brendo, with the holiday, so no volume coming out of there, you have to assume. But let's talk a little bit about Tesla. I mean, you know, they cited their factory shutdown as a possible reason why they may not have delivered as many. But let's be real about it. The Model 3 revamp is coming out. So if you were in the market for a Model 3, at least I'd be holding off until it came out, and then I'd make the purchase. So this could be, you know, just a put-off demand type situation. We'll have to wait and see. Also, a minorly revamped Model Y just got released in China. I believe they have a better 0 to 100 time and a new steering wheel of all things.
Always important.
Of course.
Alibaba, I just noticed, a little bit stronger than the rest, but these Chinese EV names specifically, downside, relatively weak compared to everything else in that group, guys.
Yeah, I mean, with the holiday week, I think you're going to see depressed volumes on all of these across the board. We saw it in the pre-market; it's continuing now. I was really just looking for a flat bottom break on NEO, so we'll start with that one. That was 885 on Friday. That was 885 on Thursday. It broke 885. It's basically giving you a small range with which to basically short it and get down into 870, and that's it. If we think they're slow, like if it's slow in the morning on the Chinese ADRs, it's going to be like watching paint dry in the afternoons, and if that happens all week, just be aware of it. You got to understand that that's the market that we're in. When they're closed, maybe not as much movement. Tesla, this is what happened when deliveries hit. It hit a gorgeous double top on Tesla. Rivian's the one that I elected to trade on the back end of this. We're talking about the flat bottom break on the midday show for lunch money as well. Rivian, when the numbers came out, looked for the long off of the bottom on Friday. It was good initially, like it bounced a few times off 23.5 and got into 24, and then just kept on wiping out the bottoms. I got out eventually at the 23.20. It broke 23 even and held, and then that ended up being the wick low. But we just survived that morning and then waited for the flat bottom to break in here at 24, which is now trending into the downside. So I'm sitting short this. I like the short to that 24 level. Things have calmed down. Overall, despite the big turn back into the upside, it's still a rejection of Friday's top. When you look at it sometimes you look at that pre-market action on the gap up, and if you just take that away, that pre-market action, only look at the open market, what you have is a false break of 24.5 and a stair step to the downside, really. So sometimes that pre-market action is a bit of a trap and a trick, and that's what it looked like it was today on Rivian, unfortunately. And it wasn't as if the numbers were all that bad. Sometimes the stock goes up, and then when the news hits, it's a sell the news type of event, and Rivian had been up almost 20% in the last week.
Okay, yeah, we had Rivian on our mark there. It was a good trade earlier. What are we talking about? Chinese EV deliveries? I don't have anything on China today. I do have a relatively new position, though. We're going to short Roblox here against 29 bucks. So we're just short right now off VWAP right there. So just short, we've taken 8 cents. We got 88 print there, 89. Now we'll see if it can go even lower than this. But right now, Roblox, we've got that. And we just took another piece out here as AMD just keeps on bouncing sort of at these levels, 102.30, 102.31. But let's just see if Roblox can continue. Obviously, we're short at 95. Our out's going to be a little north of $29. So that's going to be Roblox right now, a brand new position. So that's what we're doing here on the afternoon show. Hopefully going to be able to give a couple winners here as we go. I'm bidding 86 for the dime, and then we'll see if we get lower than that on Roblox.
All right, let's touch on crypto here. I mean, it has been a positive day overall. I mean, you were talking about, before we do, you were talking about Li Auto specifically this morning. Not much follow through from any of these really across the board today.
None.
On the EV side of things. So kind of disappointing, really.
Yeah, well, we can talk a little about some of the delivery numbers because they're all impressive. For all three, I'm not just talking up my own book here. NEO delivered 15,064, 641 cars in September, up 40% 3.8% year over year. You're not going to see that from some of these North American names, definitely not Fisker and the like. XPeng reported or delivered, 15,310 vehicles. That's up 81% year over year on September. And then Li Auto, 36,060 vehicles, up 212% year over year. Look, a lot of people talk about China giving subsidies to their EV makers and it's giving them an unfair advantage. I would say to you that China started investing in renewable energies way before the West. And so they're kind of reaping the benefits of that now. Whether that can be sustainable in the long run, whether the West can catch up, we're going to have to wait and see. But, that's showing itself in these deliveries.
Yeah, we'll see how that trend continues, obviously, going forward. But here's Bitcoin right now. That's a daily chart. So we've given it all back, essentially, right back to yesterday's high, essentially. Still a nice move over the past couple of days to the upside, but bit of a fade off of that 28,500 level. There was also this major payment institution license coming Coinbase's way from Singapore. Positive for them anyway.
And Brian Armstrong has made no bones about the fact that if the U.S. is going to give him trouble, he's going to look elsewhere. He's going to make Coinbase a global company. He's looking to delever away from the United States, and this is just one more example of that. Also, Gary Gensler coming out over the weekend saying that the government shutdown could have possibly postponed the release, or the approval, I should say, of the spot Bitcoin ETF that we're still yet to see, Brendo. We'll see if that one helps buoy the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, Coinbase did try and bounce off Friday's closing levels, I guess you could call it, but the big winner, obviously, in the mining space today, or some of the miners, Mara, Riot, still up more than Coin at this point.
Winners with I don't know, put an asterisk next to winners, because we talk about this time and time again. Like, stock can be up percentage-wise on the day, and that doesn't really tell you the story. So gap to the upside since 9:30. Okay, check that. Since 9:40. It's been trending to the downside. And Mara, it never got to 850. That was the level we're mentioning in lunch money for a chance at a dip buy. It looked pretty good there, but never really got into that level. Still trend down, unfortunately. I just wanted to quickly update Rivian here in a quick second, because the market is getting down to these lows. You've now tagged this 23.5 bottom from the morning. So 950, we made this bottom at about 23.45. Trailing this to 23.80. I might re-enter the trade here. If we get back to that price and I would get out at 23.80, I think it makes sense to load back into the short at that price. I don't know if Mara is going to get there, and I won't get a chance to mention VFS. I think all of you guys remember there's $10 on VFS. It eventually flat bottom broke. Got down to 972. It's headed back higher. If it breaks 10, I'm getting out. I actually think it might be a bit of a reversal through that $10 level. We talked about that one during lunch money as well. And down 20%. So if this is the bottom, then technically VFS would be making a SSR bounce. Not the only name. That NE stock, NEE, down well over 10%. But VFS having a bad day. Broke that 10. You had a feeling it would get there eventually. Today was that day. But it might actually hold here. So I'm not going to hold this past that 10 even level. Short 988. We break 10. I get out. Flip into a potential long position. Nimit, we'll get to Peloton in a second. I think that could be something. I don't want to write that one off. Not really moving that much right now, though.
No, we just took a dime there on Roblox. It finally went down. Actually, do we get a little bit of a better fill? No, the best fill we got was 85 there, yeah. So it's right here, right now. AMD continues to bleed down. We actually just touched 102.15 again. That's our best out. So I'm actually waiting for 102 flat right now on AMD. To come through, and crypto, I don't know, I haven't traded anything on crypto yet. I did notice Google, though, so it broke 134, but didn't really get going off of that. So that's a level that I'm looking at right now, would be Google. Tesla's back to VWAP right now. Tesla's not doing anything. Meta doing something. So Coinbase. It always goes back to Coinbase for me here with some crypto. I don't know. Do you guys like when I had Crypto Burb on the recap show? I could have him back on, talk all about this move in crypto if you want that as well. But for now, Coinbase flat. Well, not flat on the day. I mean, it's been pretty good today. That's for sure, holding upside. But it is trying to dip down. Watch out for a break of 75, I guess. there on Coinbase. For me, it's a no trade until, like, once you're down here, you got to get either to VWAP or the 200 period, and the 200 doesn't really, I don't really see anything there unless you really want to short 76.20, which could be 50 cents from now, so that could be okay. If you're going to do that, give it up to 76.50. But you could see, man, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day now, and like I said, we basically made 2 to 3x our net over the over the midday break there. So Sharif just got me there. He's, damn, Daniel, one more time. But I don't got on the white vans today. I got on the dunks. So shout out to everybody out there. Mike Crehan as well. Mad love for you. Here goes Roblox. Hopefully continues its downside movement. I got to pay that $15 a month as a tax to my kids here. 28.73 right there would be, I believe that's where my next out is. Well, it's at 71 right now. So we actually have a little trade at 82 because that's been the bottom there of the 200 period. Then if we can break down there, then my next one is down at 70. So hopefully a little bit of a breakdown low here on Roblox, and that's what we're doing. Why did I get out of XOM? Well, again, it broke the level. So I only had 10% left. And look, it went right back up to VWAP, and then I got out. So we put on our CMT hat here, like the Sharifster over there. Sometimes, you know, we come up with ideas, and that's that. It hit our VWAP, and we got out. But it should have been not that, man. It should have been a reload right there instead of an out. But, you know, we'll learn our lesson. Even just on this trade, XOM goes into the 3rd spot for most profit here today. Number 1, Apple. Number 2, JP Morgan. Number 3, XOM. So just little play right there gets us it. So it's okay, but we should have stayed in. So good point on that one. Super splash, man.
Just a heads up, guys, that MNTS just dropped a 4 million offering. So MNTS halted downside right now. Rundown, as always, brought to you by Trade Ideas. Shout out to Trade Ideas. See what's moving in the moment. Go check out their web app version. Really great stuff in this. You can click on the individual names, get charts, you get data on the individual stock, get the relevant news headlines right across the board. Great stuff from Trade Ideas. Trader TV 20. Side note, it's 30 right now, but I'm not supposed to say that. So go check out Trade Ideas.
Yes, sir. And MNTS, that was when all afternoon, that was like a flat bottom break special. But, you know, liquidity on something like this is going to be at a premium. And when they drop an offering, what happens is that news hits the wire, and any algo that might have any kind of bids out there, they're all just pulled, right? Like any bid liquidity, the first thing that happens in a move like that is bid liquidity evaporates. So if you're in a long, good luck getting out. If you try to grab a short through 285, I suppose a market order might work there, and I don't know what price you're going to get, but that's a tricky move. It is halted to the downside. Currently, 243 is a halt price. The tap is indicating anywhere from 220 to 230. It's jumping around a bit. If it were to make a relief rally upon opening up, at least you can look at that 280 level and say, hey, if that was a flat bottom break, if it gets back around there, maybe look for a short on MNTS. We'll wait for that one to open back up, but bit of a missed opportunity. If you had that one already, fair enough. CDP, you're asking me, according to Raider, we've reached technical market bottom. And SPY, do you agree? Well, I don't know. If you didn't say trust me, bro, then it's not the market bottom. That's my 2 cents on that. There was another name I wanted to get to. That was Femi. So Femi just rejected 4 for the umpteenth time. I had the long off the 4 level on the dip. Gave it into 390. It could not hold on. Look at the resistance every single time at this $4 level, but it's making higher lows. If this can get past 410, I think it could explode. So my eyeballs are on this one. If it can get back up above VWAP, then start looking for the breakout there. It looks interesting. Obviously, that MNTS clearly is going to do a lot of volume when it reopens and maybe take some of the shine away from Femi, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we do get there. Here comes that VFS. I don't want to reload it in front of 10. I really just want to hang on to what we have and then reverse if it breaks out. The green above here, I'm using a stop order that's just indicating how far I'm crossing. Like my stop is not up here. It's just if it breaks 10, I'm using a limit order that crosses up to like 16. So that's why it's on the tape. And then I have a bid down here at in front of 957 just to get some out if it does get there. As mentioned, I am sitting in NEO, which is right back at support. I'm on the bid, been at this support level for a while. So we'll be hanging on to that one to the short side. And of course, Rivian's still headed to the downside as well. Wuko, did your mentor give you the lowdown? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. My trading mentor is kind of not really in the game as much anymore. So I have no idea what you mean by that one. Unless you're talking to Raider. Fun dude. But it wasn't my mentor, just a fun guy that we had around a couple of times. I do want to go back over, if we can, I know, trust me, bro, is one of my favorite lines of all time, to Google. If we're going to hold on to 14.9 here and find support, Alphabet once, twice, thrice, 132.90 is liquidity grabbing the 133 level. If we have a chance of bouncing, this one looks like a good zone. Your risk 15 pennies off 133 here on Alphabet. I think this, maybe Amazon, Apple, to a certain extent Microsoft, like they're all showing you the last line of support here for any chance at a long. And this is kind of obvious. I mean, 132.85 or so, risk 15 pennies on this. If it breaks down, fair enough. Net short pretty much everything else anyways. But to give it one chance, Google looks okay and looks pretty strong, trying to consolidate under this 133. Let's see if it can.
Oh man, the best part about being self-taught is, I think it's a little bit of a discouragement because I never really had a mentor or anything like that. But I do feel like just being able to sit around and see how other people trade and talking with you guys and things like that. I think definitely helps. But yeah, I think if you ever have a chance to go back and double check with anybody, I think that definitely helps. I mean, to get sort of that love back going. I just punched out a little bit of Roblox right there because it came back into 82s. We did get some 82s and that's it. And then I punched 84s and then it didn't go. So hopefully Roblox can fall back down through. So we'll just wait, man. We'll just wait to see what does happen here on AMD and on Roblox. But I do want to find some more shares. So I do want to find some more. Thank you, Adam. Means a lot to me there on the chat. Adam DeLuz. I was thinking about it. So tonight I'm going to have, actually, check it out on that Adara behind me. It's going to come on to the market recap show today. So that actually sparked a little bit of an idea that I had, and that is that we haven't really done guest trader segments on this show or the morning show or the midday show, but what about the afternoon show? What if I did every single Monday, I did guest trader on the recap show? So you guys let me know, DM me at TraderTVSean on X, and if you want to come on, we can work on that. I'm going to have Adara come on now, talk to her about, how she's doing, how it's been going so far for her after her first week. Would love to get some of you on as well. Let's create content together. Recap show, DM me, you guys, next week, Monday. I'll have hopefully one of you guys on, and we'll see how that all goes. We have to test and everything. I think Ramin and Fabian, right, we'll be able to do that. Zoom links, things like that. But you have to be willing to show your face. But don't worry, I show mine, so it can't be that bad. So get ready to rock and roll. Next week, DM me there, and we'll go over all that. We can talk about everything that we have. You can even talk about this. If you have any dollar clubs on today, raise your hand because there it is right now. We've already had Apple as one. We have AMD as another. We had JP Morgan as one as well. We didn't have XOM. We almost had Rivian. And there it is right now. It's AMD. So again, a shout out to Adara and to Sharif. But on the midday show, Sharif turned right over to me when it was at 103 and goes, "What do you have on, bro?" And there it is right there. So trust me, bro. That's it right there, 103, nice downside move there on AMD. We still got it. But see, the thing is that as the market falls down, Roblox go nighty-night and not doing anything. So we may have to change it up on Roblox, but we are pretty happy. And we just got almost out of everything there on AMD. So like I said, man, we bring AMD right back to the green side of things here as boom, there it is. Dropped off early, hit early. But then as it settles down, there's the damage being put on right now. So hopefully you're able to make a little bit of money. Two names we put on for you guys here in the after show. We're going to get some more. It's only 2:30, so hopefully we can have a lot more coming through. Get Frank Jones on. Hey, I'll get whoever's on. Whoever hits me up in X gets on. So you guys tell me.
Yeah, the morning crew There's a lot of solid dudes. I mean, the conversation for anybody that's watching only now. When I say the morning crew, I'm talking about a lot of the viewers that we have that are on pre-market and having discussions like, what are we looking at, and maybe there'll be some small caps and big caps around there. It's a great discussion. I know you guys would really enjoy it, and a few of those. I know some people want some of the big hitters from there, and then maybe some of the options guys I think would be interesting on there as well. And it's not to call people out, but I know everyone's interested in Ponzi, and that's where Frank comes in.
Yeah, it's up to that.
It's up to you guys, but there's definitely a good group having Ryan. Frank Caberna comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Pretty much every single week, unless he has something going on. So we don't have Frank today. He should be, as far as I know, Frank would be on tomorrow and then Thursday.
Yeah.
We are going to the desk, so Brendan can obviously confirm that for us.
He will, as far as I know. Anyways, X, I was just reading this kind of funny headline. Elon Musk's X hit with a trademark lawsuit from a marketing agency in Florida. So a quote-unquote legal marketing company that claims the social media giant's new name infringes on its trademark incorporating the letter X. So there was a lawsuit apparently filed in a federal court in Florida today, guys, on Monday for their rebranding to X without their permission.
Yeah, I don't think Elon's too worried about that. But
Darn it, XOM.
The interesting thing is, like, in a couple of years, it'll be more interesting when that'll be public again. And then when there's news or like an actual story, like back in the day, like there'd be stories on Twitter, I mean X now, and we could hop over trade the stock. Now, unfortunately, there's really not much you can do with it, so not worth it. I really don't mind Roblox at 29. I thought that's a good level. All it is yesterday's range, Friday's range. I keep saying yesterday, 29, 28 and a half. It's clearly showing you that 50 pennies in there, and it's red on the day when the market's green. Rejection of the top, kind of like a head and shoulders look. A lot of stocks have a head and shoulders set up today. When you have breakouts that happen in the morning, sometimes you set up these head and shoulders patterns. This is another one that has it. So yeah, I mean, the 29 looks fine to me. It's just a matter of finding a move. That was a strong mover on Friday. Google or
Google.
Me saying Google.
Your MNTS, not yours, but MNTS opened up. I don't know if people are interested.
I don't even say Google. Well, see, MNTS, I'm going to get to Alphabet in a second.
A deuce spot.
I would have shorted the pop on this. I was kind of thinking if it got back up and maybe gave you a chance of like 280s or something failing in here, you work the short, it decides to just open up lower and head even lower. So I don't know about where to chase this. The halt price sometimes makes sense. That was at 242, so maybe you short off that. Like you could break 242, fail at 50, come back under, then you short 240 with a 250 stop. Like something along those lines would make sense to me, but I'm going to let it calm down a bit. Usually I'm looking for something different when one of those halts down that far and reopens. Alphabet got back over VWAP, so that 133. We'll ring the register at 133.20. Why? Well, because that's where it consolidated before. Keep it simple, and then the next high is up at 133.40-ish, and then the high of the day is at 133.70. I know sometimes I'll have a line in the chart. It's like, wow, how did you know that would be the top? Didn't. If I did, I would have shorted it off that line. No, I had this in from Friday. Friday resistance up here at about 133.70, some wicks over it to 133.40, most of the volume at that 70 level. It's just a coincidence, I think, that ends up being the lower high on Google. But I like the long because of the support level, understanding that, like a lot of other things, it's failing the top on Friday. But if it gets through 132.90, easy out. And we're able to just take 18, 19 cents on it. I think maybe exactly 19 cents on it. And we're going to be risking 10. So if it can continue to hold that level, we'll keep going over and over again. Paul, what direction do we think NEO is going? Well, I think in general it's going down, but it doesn't, like this week, I feel like if it wasn't for the holiday, this probably breaks his bottom and then just flushes through. It's been a good short off that level. It's just not a lot of volume on any of the Chinese ADRs. I think it's the Golden Week is the name of the holiday. If memory serves, their markets are closed for the entire week. So you're not going to get the same kind of gap ups and downs because of the lack of overnight action. It doesn't mean you can't trade them. Just temper your expectations. Right? Like an 885 breakdown might only give you like that 10 or 15 cent move, or sometimes it would give you 30, 40. Just change your expectations a little bit. I didn't really know what to expect. I thought maybe it would still go down as much as normal. But we'll make the adjustment tomorrow, I think. You know, just respect the fact that they might not move as much. That goes for Baba, Pinduoduo, the entire group.
And look at that Amazon just acting up here. I went to what? Come on, first of all, let's go, man. Let's see if we can ring a little bit more registers here on Roblox. Going to the downside right now, bouncing right here. Well, not bouncing, but down to 77. My bid is at 71, but I'm getting a little anxious here because we've been waiting for this to move, and it really hasn't happened yet. Oops, I'm going to cancel my 71s, put a 77 in there for Roblox. Maybe we'll get that. Maybe we won't, but we're going to be there for it. Oh, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Go, 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 go. Yes, sir, there it is. One more time, and that's not one.
Another one.
There's
Another one.
and then there was one before.
Another one.
Okay, so far so good here as we go. There's Roblox. See ya to the downside. And by the way, the AMD one is, of course, one of the ones that the DJ's talking
Another
about.
one.
It's just dropping it down, so we'll just keep on going like that. And then there's AMD coming back in for us as well. So we're staying on the short side of the trade and hopefully coming up with some winners. All right, AMD right now. Amazon. That's AMD we're talking about right now. Look at this 129.50. Like, so again, you know, it came up to that level. Hard to have decided that this would have been the level to short. The only thing I would have saw would have been this right here at 129.40. So if that I just want to bring it to you because, again, trying to give you guys some trades that are actually going to make you some money here. Like that one, or try to anyways, if it comes up to like 30s or 40s, then I feel like that is worth it right there. And then back up, you know, with your out being like 60. Something, so like 20 cents worth if we can get back upside. But then I'm looking at Amazon and I'm thinking it's positive 1.24%. So is this really the one that we wanted to short on kind of in the middle? So I just want to talk about that because there was a potential trade there at 129.50. If it does come back up, that's something that I will temporarily be interested in just to have a quick look. But the thing about Amazon is we bought this into our long-term portfolio last week in and around here. I think it was like 125 flat. We might have got like a 124.80. I'm going to double check it because it was on the Canadian side with a CDR. So there's that as well. All right, so another name, and again, I've added these to my list, and part of the reason is because I like just been buying these stocks, and we bought Oracle down here as well. But look what Oracle just did. Actually, it's just on the daily, on today's chart, is right here. Like we're getting close again to some of these tops that we saw from the morning, 106.70. So like if that can come back into play, we just missed it. Like instead of shorting, Roblox is fine, man. It's 15 cents in the money. It's all good. We're happy. But at the same time, we could have shorted Oracle all the way back to view up or the 200 period. So that could have been a trade as well. So I told you that we're a completely different style right now. And now over the last few days, we're really starting to hit the stride on this. So no LFT now, good couple trades. Check back in on JP Morgan. Like look at this one today. I just got to get better at trying to wait for these. You know, like with the share size and everything, it's once it gets into the money and it gets back to like past support, I'm always taking it out because I'm looking at it like, wow. And then even here, like 143. But look where we were short JP Morgan today, 145.20. It's at 143.20. So forget about dollar clubs, man. This was $2, but you had to hold it. So we did pretty good though. Like we took, that's 145.20. That out right there is 143.60. So it's still $1.50, but again, to hold a little bit more and do a little bit better, we should be doing that. So, hey, this is how many stocks we traded today. Apple, that's positive. AMD, that's positive. Intel, that's positive. That's 3 for 3. JP Morgan makes it 4 for 4. Palantir, red. Fail on Palantir. So that's a red stock, 4 for 5. Roblox, 5 for 6. Rivian, we are actually going to be red on Rivian, 5 for 7. And then right there, the big guy at the end, of course, I've already told you about the Zominator here, XOM, putting us 6 for 8. So far, so good there with pretty decent wins on board. So, hey, look, good day so far, but just need something to happen here. AMD maybe is my next position to get out, but we're pretty happy, just waiting for some more dramatic moves, which honestly, Neil, I don't know if we get them here this afternoon.
Futures are at this bottom. I'm going to get to NVIDIA. We just took that one. It finally got under the 444 level. But if you look at the NASDAQ, like this is, you look at that morning bottom or the opening range bottom down here is at 14.8.5, but we just made a touch of that 14.86 level. So you get down underneath that. I think it could be floodgates to the downside. Always a possibility. NVIDIA was one of the names that was holding the market up this morning. When we talked about this one during the rundown, like 20 minutes ago, this was up 2.5%, now under 2. It's that 444 level. Support here, support there on volume. It just broke that down. First consolidations right here since breaking 444, so I just jumped in the 33.3s, 43.3s, give it back up about $1. It's like 90 cents of that local high, but you might as well call it $1. Google is bouncing again. So I like this one off support. You can see a bit of a triple bottom that has not broken down 132.5, sorry, 132.90. So it's still looking pretty solid off of these lows. Eventually that could break down if the futures decide to give it up. It was something else I was going to get to. I think it was, actually, no, never mind. It was that MNTS. I kept saying, hey, we're going to get a chance to short some pops in this one. No, they announced the offering. It halted to the downside. It's still just gently trending lower and lower. It doesn't have to be a bottom on this. I just realized I had gone to a 1-minute chart because I was checking something that Sharif said during the midday, and just realized I didn't change it back. So I like to use 3 minutes. That's why I'm going to move it back to a 3-minute chart for myself. But this MNTS, $2 is a psychological level. If it gets underneath $1.90, this could get really, really nasty. I suppose like 130 to 150 might be not a terrible spot to look for a long if it does make any kind of a base there, but it's still looking pretty heavy to the downside. Hasn't really shown any legs for a dip buy on MNTS. Nasty, but what are you going to do? Is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's
these stocks with these offerings, like.
It's hard, and that's what I was sort of putting in the chat there. It's hard for a trader sometimes to like admit that something has changed, or and so when you get stuck in a stock like this, you have to understand that when that offering is hit, it changes the dynamics of everything that you've been looking at for the name, right? And so that's the one thing. It's like, I don't know, continue to support the stock, it's fine, but at some point you got to look at some levels and say, hey, what about $2? What about, because, and again, it just goes back to me thinking about VFS again, and to where we were like, oh shit, now it's even below 9. Like, it broke below 10, yeah. And it's like, we talked, we know that there's the reason why it's up here. So you got to be careful with short float, and there's lots of it. There's float checker, there's this trade ideas, and there's a lot of, this is Microsoft, obviously it's not going to have anything on it. But when you're looking at a stock like VFS or something, just for an education standpoint, and again, we'll have Adara on tonight, we'll be talking about things that she's learned and everything. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a short float listed here, but we know that the float is only 7 million shares. It is a big company whereby the owners are holding 90%, and maybe that's been released, and this is what I'm talking about getting better and getting smarter of the share structure, right? So this is the share structure issue. So you want to make sure that you're able to understand why things are going up or down, and I actually heard them talking on the midday show again about another name, Carvana, that was dipping down today, and yes, so Carvana is a little different. It's not different in the fact of why it's moving. I still think that obviously the move down when Morgan Stanley priced it at 0 right here back. No,
it was $1.
Was $1, yeah.
I don't think it was.
Well, they said bankrupt, but price target $1, yeah, I guess. So it went from 6, guys, 7 or 8 actually, down to $4. That was almost a year ago. It's held that level and then bumped up. But should it be up 10x? From that level? I mean, I guess that's what we're all to decide. And the reason why I said this Carvana is a little different than the rest is just simply because we've come down here to 36 and it's held numerous times. So this looks a little bit different than the rest of them. Like VFS, I don't think has a bottom. MNTS might not have a bottom. And one person who we're never going to give up is Frank. Part 2, well, Frank is 1B, 1A, Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, I'll give you a new look here. We'll do some testing. How about that? We did some work at lunch, and I wanted to try this out for Fabian, most likely, just to check the actual lighting in this room for us. But this gives you an idea of some of the things we can do with the green screen and show you some interesting stuff. This is actually the VIX. So the actual VIX right now, I wanted to show down here. This is a daily chart, but trust me when I say is at 15. So you were saying, waiting for something to happen. This is the VIX volatility. We need a little bit of a breakout, but that gives you an idea of how we've been chopping around for quite some time with the VIX. This is the NASDAQ, meanwhile, that has been showing all the strength for the past couple of days here, led by big tech, but there are some names in the red so far today, AMD, ASML in the chips space. I highlighted Tesla over there because it's basically, as we said when we came on at 2 o'clock, back to flat, guys.
Yeah. Well, if you see our social media, you would know Brendan has legs.
Obviously he has legs.
He does stand in front of the desk.
What am I
I
doing
like
with my
that look.
legs?
I like that look.
It's a great
But it is
look.
funny because I threw to Brendan and I looked at the big desk. I'm like, wait a second, and then I heard him. And
They called for Brendan. I gave a look like, what do you mean throw to Brendan? Like, I can see a clear path that he's not sitting there.
Yeah.
We can't throw to no Brendan.
Yeah.
I love the look. The VIX gets over 20, giddy up. Doesn't mean there aren't things to trade, but trust me, when the VIX, I shouldn't say when, you know what I mean. It's a figure of speech. I don't like speaking as if things are certain, right? Like I do think the VIX is going to head back up, but I don't think that 100%. Otherwise, you can make a trade there too. But if we get there, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Nvidia still challenging that 444 level. It's in the consolidation phase. Google doesn't, despite the fact that you're holding here on the futures, Google is having some trouble at VWAP. So it's getting up there. The buying isn't exactly overwhelming. So it's really just going into that just better than 1-to-1 phase. I might take some more out at that 133.20 level if we get the chance. VinFast is mentioned. I don't know, man. Underneath 10 just seemed like an obvious take a chance. Short underneath there. It just got right back. I said I wouldn't reload it. It went to 998. I should have just reloaded it. Underneath 10, it's an obvious level to get out. Femi's making a bit of a move. Hampton's trader just said. No, but it hasn't really broken out yet. Just looking for it to hold above 4, right? Like that's the place it couldn't do it earlier. Show me that you can hold above that 4 level, and I'll like it a heck of a lot better. So Femi's on my radar. I just don't know if the trade's going to be in there just yet. Slapped the L on the consolidation of Nvidia. It just held above 444 there. The future's getting back to 14.9. I'll take that shot in there. It's a little bit less than $1 worth of risk, but it's essentially about that. I'll take that shot. If it breaks back above 444, I think you're getting into VWAP, which is at least a couple of bucks higher. So there it goes. Just got to fill on Google, so maybe the market wants to hold out here. I'm not giving up the notion on the shorts. We'll hang on to the ones that are still in the money. I might reload that VinFast if it comes up to 10 again. That would be the 3rd time. Usually the 3rd time isn't necessarily a charm, but that's a pretty weak stock. If it fails at 10 for good, it could be done. Femi, as I said, $4, it gets there and it keeps on retracing. It's got to hold that $4 level. Yeah, I mean, Hampton's trader, you can take that a lot of ways. You could take a break of this level. Technically, that would be a 402 break. Even if you go back into this wick, maybe even like a 410. It's not exactly $4 on Femi that's been rejecting. It's just the general area that's been rejecting there. I just need to see it above there. I'd rather participate in the move on one of these things than hope to make it happen. A lot of times you get suckered into buying that top. You want to see that level break and show some buyers above that price, and then it looks a little bit better.
We are now out, so we'll hit the siren alert there because we did get out of AMD there for $1. Well, we got out at 102 on that break. It broke this 102.10, so that's what we took. So we are now out of that name. And it went basically tops. I mean, the top would have been there, but tops to bottom. Right there. So that was a good play. We got to get out of that when that does happen. We did get our Roblox bid as well, which was another good one. It went right down there. So top of the day again into the 200 period. So we got a 76 or 77 there. Then it started to break up and we took an 85. So right now we are very, very flat. Well, very, very flat. We still have 20% or no, less than 20% of this position. And so I just want to explain something to you because this is how I'm trading. So for those of you asking, like I just canceled my AMD cover, right? Which would have been if I was wrong up here. It was 103.06 was my cover, right? And so I shorted 95. So it's 11 cents worth of risk. Like it went all the way down into the money about $1.30. You know, so when you're looking at risk to reward, there's those kind of things, and that's why you're going to see a lot of the time, like, I start scalping out, because like when I get 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1 in the money, it's kind of like, okay, maybe we should just start to take this at some point, right? So that's eventually and ultimately what we wind up doing, and then I'm just trying to get better, which I was doing pretty good, because we were able to hold here for 7 or 8 to 1, and we had about 30 to 40% still left on board. So by the time we get out of these 4, it's all good, but still, just wanted to cover that because we just got out, and I just noticed that, you know, potentially sometimes we don't necessarily, or I don't necessarily show, well, I show everything, but just my outs. So we always talk about the ins and the outs, but I just wanted to give everyone a clear idea. So like, here's Roblox. So look what my position, short 28.95. I'll give you one guess. All of you could probably guess where the out is. So that's why when you're down here shorting at 28.95, getting out slightly above 29 gives you, like, let's just say 10 cents with slippage. So that way when you're taking 20 or 30 down there, you know, makes a little more sense. So that's kind of it. It's all about planning your trade and making sure that you're the one in charge all the time, right? And I think that that's something that I've learned as well in my lifestyle of trading, is to get aggressive when it's necessary, but also understand that, hey, not all the time are your positions going to come in for you, and sometimes you're going to have to take profits where they lie, right? And so that's why we're using 200 period moving averages on the 1 minute chart. It's why we're using 50 period moving averages. We started with the daily, we did work, we put it onto the minute chart, and that is that. Other than that, I don't really have anything that I'm looking at right now. I mean, Tesla was one that we sort of ignored a little bit here today. Let me see if I can go back to it. Okay, so it is breaking lower right now, so TSLA. Okay, so this is a good one, actually. It looks like we are getting a break of the bottom here, 248. So that's a good possible break, and then you give it up to VWAP there, 249.30. So again, 1 to 1, you're going to need a hit. You're going to need something to happen here, right? Because if this falls down, you're going to need to go at least $1.30 back to VWAP. So this is an interesting look here for Tesla as the market continues to fall down. Man, it's probably going to look bad getting out of AMD at some position. But again, a positive name's a positive name. And as a day trader, you're just trying to be green every day and hoping that your green days are better than your red days. And so today is a hell of a green day to start the month. So let's just keep it going there. But I do see that Tesla could be a good break. And then, oh man, JP Morgan, talk about something there that we switched over into the banks. Boom to the downside, man. Huge whoosh in this stock today. Short 145, now down to 143 and change. JP Morgan again, making it rain a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, the banks could be under pressure. I mean, you saw SoFi break down today. The stock that says knee is making a bit of a bounce here. Not a great day for these guys. Next era, is that what it's called?
What it is?
It's Nextera. Next era energy, whatever. Don't really know a ton about them. Huadong Central today, there you go. SSR bounce in play, hit 10% down, bouncing off 50. It looks like this might be a chance to run to VWAP just because of how bad it was. It's not just today. Like, this stock, I mean, it's plunged 25% in the last week. So when you get a bounce of what would VWAP be at this particular point, like that would be like 50 to 50 and a half, like $2. That's not a heck of a lot. Like, the stock was at $68 a couple weeks ago. So as a day trader, I like the risk to reward of an SSR bounce when it's that beaten up. So it's already on the run. I see a lot of people talking about it. Knee on its knees. Yeah, the stock who says knee. I love Monty Python. They're fantastic. Pretty much everything. Fawlty Towers is great too, but Monty Python, The Holy Grail, is one of the funniest movies ever made. So I'll reference that every chance I get. I do like a chance to go maybe long off this, like a 50-50 level. You can see the higher low it's putting in. And again, I'm not saying that this is a great stock or anything. Just sometimes when you get these SSR bounces or a stock which is that bad and has made a low, it's really not that bad of an entry. Really should have just reloaded VFS. The $10 level, like how bad could this really get? Load, there we go. How bad could this really get? It's testing back down into these lows at 970. But when you think about like worst case scenarios for this stock, it could get really nasty. The fact that it got back in and retested 10 and couldn't have any kind of relief rally, I feel like 950 could be incoming on this stock. We'll see what happens. I'm bidding in front of 950 as we speak. Should have just reloaded this one at 10 even. If it gets there again, it's like the third time through, and I don't think I want it. But yeah, VFS is a dumpster fire. It would be an SSR bounce play as well, but I think if you were trading that, like you already took the long here, and then made that move, like 10 to 1030. That's a great play. If you had that, you know, you get yourself 25 cents. If it breaks evens, you're probably able to get out in the first few pennies underneath it. That's a standard SSR type of bounce, if you can even get one. What's going on with, I almost want to double check like Apple here, because Google, I mean, Google's in a 30-cent range, so you can maybe scalp like the evens into the 20s. That's about it. Apple's still chilling out at the exact same price. It did a bit of a dip underneath support, 172.75, but then 25 cents back to the upside. So basically the same kind of move that Google is doing, like up and down off support for 30 cents. You can scalp a range like that, but that's pretty much all you're doing with it. If you just sort of sit in it off support and don't do anything, you know, if it breaks down, you miss the chance to get these bounce plays. I like Google. No point doubling down.
Yeah, I said that there could have been a bad out there on AMD. We'll see where it goes from here. All right, so a stock that we're red on today is going to be Palantir. And again, it's just because it broke every single time. Like it came in, it broke, it came in, it broke, and we never took enough profit. Shout out to Wreaking Havoc there, I think it was, on the chat, and said that he's the worst for taking profits. I'd say I might, you know, that's something I might have you beat at there, my friend, because oftentimes we get a lot of great positions and we either take them out too early, but hey, like I said, as long as you're making profit, you're making profit. But I do think there needs to be a little bit of work done, and I did talk about the other day Fibonacci's and things like that that I'm trying to implement a little bit more into my trading, right? But then I look over at a stock like Roblox and I say, like, even if this thing were to tank pretty hard, like I'm getting out at levels that are either past support levels or key areas where I think are key anyways, like 200 period moving averages. And like, you know, when you get out, it looks bad when it continues to go down, right? But often, you know, just like this, I'm already up on Roblox. I cannot be red on Roblox today on this current position. I could average in and make it worse and blah, blah, blah. But like just the fact that I'm able to get out here puts me into a positive position on Roblox. And obviously, if this continued to fall down, I wouldn't have even had this out. And if this continued to fall down, I wouldn't have this out either, because this out is because we breached back above the 50 period. So again, you know, not having, like the fact that we're 7 of 9 or 6 of 8 or whatever we are there without a crystal ball is pretty good, right? So I feel like that's not horrible. We'll just continue to watch out and hopefully make better decisions and try to hold something for these bigger moves down. But again, you can only make decisions based on the information that you have in front of you. So for right now, like if Roblox can come back here, it's supported this 75 area like once, twice, now thrice. So I'm going to put another bid there. We have 25% left of this position. If it comes back into here, we'll get out of another 10. Then if it continues to go down, then we'll probably get another piece out right here. Then if it's $1 in the money, so be it. You know, but not every single day. And this is why I say, you know, look at our trading. Look at the positions we have. Understand maybe why we're in them. Understand why you wouldn't be in them. Or you would be. And then figure out your outs. Because like for me, again, being in this position and having the shares I did, I'm going to take 20 or 30 cents against this bottom for JP Morgan. Hold, hold, hold for $1.40. So now that it's all the way down here, there's really not that much I can do other than be like, okay, that was a good trade, and next time maybe hold more. But ultimately, I'm just trying to have these same ratios every single day. More winning trades than losing trades, size appropriately. And just as we're sitting here talking, man, the net is going to days high. Because why? Look what Roblox is doing, just falling right back in, right into another level. Hopefully we get printed here at 77, and then we're still sitting there at 77. If we can get it, great, and I just want everyone to understand why. We've already gotten out here once, and then it ripped up 25 cents against us. So if we can get another fill, we'll take it right here at 77 on Roblox.
Love it there. Roblox giving you that range over and over again. Steve G, the answer is the history of the world. They're my people. I love them. Pull. But you can throw movie quotes at me if you want. I'm going to get them all day long. You know what's breaking downside? I thought, you know, Neo's been okay, but Xpeng just took out 18. This could be a flat bottom break tomorrow. I'm going to put an alert on this one, 17, 18. 1780, I should say, on XPeng. Down 2%, you had delivery numbers from the entire group. XPeng trying to break out the 50 period. If it breaks this, it's failing the 50 period. I mentioned that I am in NEO here. But, you know, like you said, I get that fill at 870, which is basically the low of the day. But I don't think we're doing anything more with this stock today. We'll go to what's going to be there tomorrow, which I do think possibly XPeng is going to be there. Google, the market is rolling back into the downside. I might take one more chance at this. It just doesn't feel like it's giving you much of anything. Like, it bounced off that 133. It couldn't get past the 20 level. Got to like maybe 31, 32. I did get one fill at like 23. But it's looking pretty heavy on the overall market. MNTS, I don't know what to tell you, but the stock is basically completely asleep. For a stock that just halted down on an offering, it's now not even moving. So I think maybe you chuck this one away. If I see it break back above $2, I might get interested. Femi is another one which looked like it had a chance to go, still holding a higher low, can't seem to hold or get above VWAP. We still have almost a full hour to go, so this one has a chance to break out. But you know how I roll. If the market's weak and on bottoms, I like small cap names if you're looking for long trades to be the breakout, because you can get 20, 30 cents on Apple right now or Google. But if one of these goes and you get 20 or 30 cents, well, it's a $4 stock. So it's percentage-wise going to be a better gain. And you don't necessarily have to worry about the market flushing if one of these is going to get to the upside. So I have my eyes on a few small cappers. I know BNOX is on people's minds. If I had seen BNOX at the same time I was looking at Femi 4, this is exactly what I'm looking to happen in Femi. Like, this broke back above, it held 360, broke 4, you look for the entry off the 4 level, it's already given you 420. Buying it up here, I don't know. Maybe it's so close to the high of the day. I think I've already maybe missed the move. Can it take out that high? The volume isn't all that great. I'm going to wait for Femi. There might be a dip buy on BNOX. And I'm calling it BNOX because I don't remember the name of the company. Like, you trade a lot of different symbols. And for these small cappers, does it really matter? You're playing momentum, and you're playing levels, and you're playing setups. One of the ones that's worked recently has been consolidation above VWAP, and then it breaks this support, dips in, wicks VWAP, get the bid right as it bounces, maybe grab like 390s, 395s on the way back to the upside. That's been a fantastic setup recently. That happened on Femi the other day. If you were trading Pixie earlier, that happened on Pixie. Got out too early, but it was breaking out, failed this break of the high at about 140 or so, gave one wick down into VWAP, it popped back off, grabbed the long 126s, 128s, and then jammed to the upside. I trailed out because that's how I always roll. I'm just usually never the guy believing the $1.20 stock is going to 250.
Yeah,
just
tough.
No, it's a stylistic thing. Like, if it's getting to 180, it's a short kind of thing. Thankfully, I didn't short 180. Maybe it was worth a scalp trade if I shorted the 180 level coming back into here, but I kind of felt it was a little bit strong going into that level and didn't do it. Just after finishing lunch, man, I sat back down at my desk, and the stock was at the level. And I find if you have not been at your trading desk and you sit down and it's like something sets up right in that moment and it's against the trend and you don't have time to assess the move, it's like take it or don't take it, and I'm just literally sitting back down at my desk, usually the answer of don't take it is a better one. Because I wasn't watching the stock as it went 25% into that high. I have no idea what the tape looked like. I'm flying blind on it. I just see it at the price level, and then what, am I going to hit a key and go short against the grain? No. Like, if you've been watching the stock and you have a read on it in that moment, fair enough, and maybe it was an okay one. $2 obviously better there for Pixie. And it is all the way back down to 140, but that doesn't mean the short here was any good, because sure, if you short here and hold on to it past 2, it works out for you. But do that too often and you'll find yourself completely destroyed. We're talking with a Day Trade the World floor owner. He has a guy on his floor who's pretty good at shorting some of these parabolic movers, but he has to be willing to take that hit, because for him, for strategies like that, it's not necessarily about winning 8 times out of 10. It's about winning 30 to 40% of the time, making sure you're never getting destroyed. And then when it makes that big flush, you just need to have 1 or 2 of those for every 2 or 3 that you lose on. And that's what you're looking for. It's the same thing when you hunt for the long. If you're looking to hold the big one instead of scalp it, you only need to hit that 1 time out of 3 as long as you're having yourself an out. It's when you hold past that out that you're going to find yourself in trouble.
Yep. It is all about risk management, right? And so I think that's very, very valid. No matter what style you are trading, you got to have some risk management. Oh, hello? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll show it. Okay. All right. See you, Warren. Bye. Okay, so I tweeted this out here. So he wanted to make sure that we showed this, right? Join me on @TraderTVSean on X every single day. Let's start the new week with knowledge and determination, right? Just what Neil was talking about. Look at this. Shout out to my wife for putting this together for me. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing, which is why I think like every single time we sit down here and put on trades, is there risk associated with the trade? Yes. But to sit there and not have an out or not understand, where your money's coming from, like to sit here and talk about, being a successful trader, but yet never making money on, like a Pixie, like an MNTS, you might want to switch over your strategy or lower your shares and practice it. Understand the risks associated. Because like Neil said, there are lots of traders that are able to make money on those kind of strategies, right? And so it's whatever's for you. You could see the kind of, when things are moving like that, I'll trade cannabis names when they're moving with catalysts. I'll even trade names like that. We had VFS on board last week, right? When it was bouncing off that $12 mark, and I could have an out at 12. So like even right now, I don't think VFS is overly risky to trade. I just think it's right here. You could trade it, but you better get out if it breaks 970 is kind of what I'm thinking. You could trade against the trend. You could trade with the trend. But have an out and make sure, what I'm about to say, again, nothing's rocket science, but just make sure that you understand where your outs are, where they're coming from, and just play it accordingly. And as long as you have all of that, I really think that trading can be a little simpler than it sometimes seems. And all of us have to take steps back and try to figure out, okay, what exactly has hit us in the past, what exactly is working for us even currently, and how can we implement better strategies into our trading as we go, right? And again, if you go @TraderTVSean on Instagram, on Twitter, you'll see various things, including a new profile picture. It takes a long time to get your check back, by the way, when you change your profile picture. Oh, I saw some people earlier, again, like Neil, myself, Brendan, anybody on social media, we will not be contacting you guys. Like, someone messaged me again this weekend, like, hey, are you asking for Bitcoins? Like, come on, we're not doing that. Definitely come over here, check out the Ultimate Trade Prep Checklist, so you can go through sort of what goes through my mind every single time I'm looking to make a trade. This will link you right over to Instagram, and when it does, most of you have Instagram accounts, I think, more than Twitter accounts, it seems like, and then you're gonna get about 7 or 8 steps here. And this is what we just talked about right there. Define your entry and exit points. That's the big thing. So it just goes back to what Uncle Warren told me, and that is that make sure you don't put on any risk if you don't know A, the reward, where you're going to get out, and B, how much risk you are associating with that trade. So go back over, look at all this. There's the confirm the stop loss. They're all here. We'll get rid of that. But that's what that is for now. Make sure you go back, double check everything. Oops, I only got rid of the Twitter one. We'll close that. And just, be safe with your trades. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, there we go. What's up, Hampton Trader? Yeah. You send me Bitcoin, so the only wonder when you're going to get it back with profits soon, my friend, soon. But definitely, if you send anyone Bitcoin,
well, actually,
make sure it's not.
If you want it back with profits, you just have to send some more. Then
yes,
once you send some more,
don't do
then
that.
You'll be absolutely fine. I just threw in the chat that if I asked you guys for apple fritters, that's 100%. It's definitely me. The thing about
well, now that you said that, actually.
Okay, no, you know I'm joking. You guys know I'm joking when I say that. But the picture thing,
anything.
No, never send us anything. The picture thing actually makes sense because a lot of people, they'll have like an established account and then they'll change the picture to indicate somebody else.
I know why it happens.
Yeah, I think it's like they're doing the right thing there. Yep. It's just a bit of a pain in the butt. But oh goodness, we're about 15 minutes away from potentially. When we get that number, when we talk about the early look, sometimes it moves the market, sometimes it doesn't. I feel as if we're sitting on this like tiny support level on the ES and the NASDAQ that maybe you're going to get some kind of a relief rally potential bounce play. I've got a trail here in Rivian. I said I would re-enter the trade if it got up to 23.75. I've just been waiting for it to get to the key level, and it won't get there for the reload. There's not much that I want to do with this stock. I'll hold through a break through the bottom. I don't want to necessarily force the action. Looking at that knee stock, Every single time I see that, I just want to say knee instead of knee next era. I don't think we're going to see that 50-50. 50.5 level. I mentioned I like that. You can see that bottom there. It might just be a playoff, 51, 51, stair step to the upside. Maybe you can hold a 51 on a dip. That could be the better way to go. I'm on the bid now of Google to take 133 again. If it's just going to be this scalp trade, then I'm just going to go over there and take that another time if I can get it. But there's that knee. 51 looks like it's going to be a decent level, at least for now. Neo, I'm just going to get out of this. So it got to the bottom. It looked like it was going to break even lower. Got 1 cent further to downside and immediately bounced up. Volume candle seems like it's a lot, but trust me, it's not that much. If it gets to VWAP, forget about it. I'm just going to get on the bid here. If I can grab 75, 76, halfway VWAP to the low of the day, I'll be pretty happy with that. As I said, XPeng's feeling like a decent setup. Darn it. Like I had just gotten excited about the notion of XPeng flat bottom breaking tomorrow. Now it's going to hold $18. Okay, doesn't mean it can't break tomorrow, but that's a little bit frustrating. Can I go over BNOX, Tisha says? Sure. I mean, it's better than just waiting around for Femi. What I wanted for BNOX was going to be, here's your consolidation, do the liquidity grab. That would be VWAP at 385. Look to grab like the little bit of a long, just a demonstration of what that looks like. Like it's not, this isn't the best example of it in here when it's failing the break and slamming back down. When it's stair stepping to the upside, you can sort of see stair step up, break a high here, get up there, fail, wick the previous high, just hang on, you look for the entry in there, and then stair step to the upside. I find with these, breakouts have sucked on a lot of these small caps. Like it can be trending up and you can be playing breaks and then you're not making any money. Like back in 2020, all these breaking out were fantastic. You couldn't help but make money. You're just winning, winning, winning. But the breakouts aren't as good. So when you miss a good breakout like here at 390, now just let it do the old dip buy game. See if you can't pick that one up off 390, 385. But it needs to come down first. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. As mentioned, I just got out on Neo. Sorry, guys. I know. I was trying to hold on to it. I'm like, damn it, I'm not going to be able to hold that one. Apologies. I just got out of Neo. My adage for the small cap, for the Chinese ADRs is even if you're in a winning trade, if it completely stops moving, take the profit. I can't tell you how many times I'll be sitting in one of these things. It'll make a bottom, and if you don't take the out when you can, it's all the way back to your reentry. 885 is my level. I might take this again tomorrow off the same price level if it wants to set up. I do think you've rejected a bit of a mini breakout here at 9, and any trend down takes you back to 8. Step 1 today. Step 2, rinse and repeat tomorrow. Did I really just not get Google? Oh, I know why. Yeah. I actually bid 133 even. So here's Google. It wicked underneath 133, held 132.90 again. So on the way back up, instead of bidding 133.01 or 133.02, I bid 133 even, and it came back down there and didn't fill me. So I missed that reload. But if you got it, great. It's giving you 30 cents over and over again, which is pretty crazy. That's how it goes. I mean, usually I would never bid the 133 even on the way back. I'd just cross up 1s and 2s, but this time I did not, and it sucks, unfortunately. I hate your guts, Google. But it's just a very tight range that we're working with here. So buy the bottoms, sell the tops. That's the best you're able to do here. 100,000 seller on BNOX. I just saw in the chat. I flipped away from it. I don't see it now. I'm going to assume it just broke, though. So if there's 100,000 seller, I'm sure it just broke, and that would have been this volume candle right here. Probably, you guys tell me where it was. I didn't see it. I wasn't on level 2. I have a chart up, but I wasn't watching level 2 when it broke. So the dip buy I was looking for into VWAP, that'll have to wait because BNOX has decided to break back out. Maybe it can take out that high today. I'm still not going to be buying tops. Even if it's a 450 break, I'm not taking the 450 break. I'll take a dip on a fail break if it does so. It's at 30. It didn't go. I see 10,000 shares at 30, Tisha. Let me just show you guys. If you see something else on the level 2, I'm seeing ARCA's for 8,000 actually, so it's, I don't know, you add that up, I see about 10,000 shares, maybe 11 or 12,000 total at 430. Could be on a different gateway. Maybe it's on a gateway that I'm not displaying market depth on. So cross that bridge when we get there. 100,000 looks big and looks important, but the stock has done 35 million. So it's not, in terms of liquidity on level 2, it's a lot of liquidity to be on level 2. In terms of how much volume the stock is doing and what the notional value is, it's not a terribly big level. Like if I saw 1 million shares on this, I'm going to respect that. You very rarely see 1 million shares on stocks with these low floats, but 100,000 not that big. Either way, I mean, it's showing resistance off that level, so there's something.
Okay, just looking here. Getting everything set up for the after show right now as we go today. So just getting that all looked at and ready to go. Roblox now, guys, look what's happening right now. Let's fire off the hot dog cannon first of all, because there it is, nicely done to the downside here for this name. But hold on a second, just for this. There we go. Did that just, okay, yeah, that worked out. Okay, so Roblox, nice move to the downside right now. So let's wait to see here on this move. It's a nice one down for Roblox. Where are we gonna get out? We talked about getting out next time in and around this area, in and around this area, 60 or so. So let's just put a bid right now for Roblox and see if, again, we could take out 30 cents against about a 10 cent or so. Oh, my phone's in my pocket. Winner, we have a big security system around. You got to use your phone to get over into the coffee area. So we got another coffee.
That's how great the coffee machine is.
Yeah,
it's like you need to pass through security to actually.
Security on that one. So yeah, so far so good on that. All right, so what else do you want to talk about? Maybe some Apple.
Lily just made a $10 move, but I don't see any
Upside, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean it's been it's been going down, but I'm not seeing news. It's not a huge volume spike, but that's enough that I would think something just happened. I don't see anything. I don't know if you see anything news-wise. Lily's been pulling back a little bit.
I don't see anything on the
But
news.
guess where we're bouncing off? Eli, the 50 period. I like that bounce, baby. I own Lily in my long-term account, didn't take anything out at the highs. I was considering it at 600, and then obviously didn't do that 10% ago, Neil. But if it bounces off, if it bounces off the 50 period here, I think if I see 600 again, I don't look that gift horse in the mouth. Just this one, I'll admit it, like this one turned into a little unexpectedly, a little higher in terms of percentage in my portfolio than I was expecting. So maybe redistributing some of that into like the Qs or maybe an ETF would make some sense. But a decent pullback, nothing when you look at the daily chart on Eli Lilly. I mean, this has been an absolute rocket ship. If it holds on to the 50 period here, I think whatever the recent high is, maybe grab some outs on a rollover if it does get there. Yeah, still not seeing any news on it though. That's weird. I mean, $10 move on Lilly at this time of day. I'm inclined to think something happened, but I'm not really seeing anything on the wire.
Yeah, it could have just been someone came in and, I mean, I guess if you have to buy like 100,000, how much is this volume spike? Like if you need to buy a certain amount of shares on that kind of a name,
it's not that big a volume spike.
Probably run it up a little bit. Yeah, what's up to Jack of all trades? He wants to know if Chris Bretcher will be on today. He'll be on tomorrow. So Chris is on every, actually he's on every Wednesday. Brian Shannon of Anchored VWAP fame, of book fame, author, so on and so forth, been on the compound, everything like that. He's coming on tomorrow. So Chris will be on Wednesday, followed by Danielle Shea, unless she's off, will be coming on Thursday, Michael Noss on Friday. Today will be Adara. And next week, we've already gotten a few people messaging me already on X. So if you want to become a guest on the Market Recap Show with yours truly, make sure that you message me at X. DM me at TraderTV and tell me your handle in chat, and I'll get back to you and schedule a meet and greet, and we'll talk off camera, and I'll figure out if you are smarter than me, and if so, you're not allowed on. So that's what's happening.
The news was on Novo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a sympathy play. It's a Novo Nordisk move there, and it's a bit of a sympathy play.
Novo Nordisk, huh?
I mean, this is a European name. It's not
Peter
really.
Schiff? You want me to bring that? Okay. All right. I'll message Peter Schiff.
Talk some gold. Or
Talk
something
some
else.
gold.
I'm not assuming he always talks about gold, so I would assume
Talk some Bitcoin.
he'll talk crypto.
We had a 700,000 follower there, Crypto Burb, on last week to talk all about. I mean, you want to have him? I mean, I grabbed Adara for today. I think there's some value in that. We could go Crypto Burb tomorrow. We could go Natalie Brunell. She wants to come on. She's waiting for me to message her as well. Jeremy Granton, sure. All these guys, man. All that. Downtown Josh Brown, let's go. He had on there, by the way, Gunjan from Wall Street Journal. She's ready to go. I've messaged her a couple times. She has my phone number. So we'll do that. She interviewed me about Bed Bath & Beyond before, so it's time for her. Gunjan Banerjee from Wall Street Journal. I think that would be good. And I'd love to get, Josh Brown for sure. I'd love to get some futures traders on. So again, if anybody here is a futures trader, let's go.
We have a couple in the chat. I mean, Dan would be, it's not to put anybody on the spot.
No,
Dan
it's all
does a fantastic job.
Dan Emmons is busy, but he said about that as well fair to come through.
Well, shout out to Mr. Westermeyer. Man of his word. I didn't say anything about it because I haven't really seen him talk about it, but he knows when he comes.
Oh, the Bills, yes.
He knows when he comes to Toronto that we'll have a good time, and I'd be a man of my word if the Bills had lost. Obviously, the Bills beat Miami, so one of our viewers made a friendly wager. We were going back and forth on Sunday. He conceded the victory, so should be a lot of fun. We love to do stuff like that. We've had people come ring the bell, enjoy our time here. We love meeting you guys. It's a heck of a lot of fun doing it. Just one thing, Sharif was running his mouth a little bit.
Oh, was he? About what?
Well, you know, like he was talking about Dallas, and then I said to Adara, if she wants to learn about football, all she needs to know is that the Bills are great and Dallas sucks. To which he started talking about Super Bowl victories.
Right, but the history, yeah.
And all I'm going to say is this: Dallas and Buffalo play on December 17th of this year. Anybody that watches this show, you know I have no problem with a humiliation bet for that one. And it can be on air. We can figure something out. Sharif just has to say yes. We just got to figure out the terms. You guys tell me what you think would be fun. Like, I've done it with Sean, and it's good fun. It's all in good fun. I mean, there's a lot of Cowboys fans out there. I am obviously not one of them. I'll paint my face. Obviously wearing a jersey is easy. I'll wear a Dak jersey. I don't care. I mean, I'll be sick to my stomach, but I'll wear one. I just know the Bills are going to run ramshack on them. And it's in Buffalo. So understand, I have no problem with just whatever the spread happens to be, we can go against the spread. But I want suggestions from you guys as to what we can do because we just absolutely crushed Miami. I'm feeling like my confidence level is super high in the Bills after they crushed Miami. Miami's a damn good team. I'm taking some VFS out here. You can see it's not really failing as much as I would like to see underneath that 10 level. It just got back down to 980 even, not exactly falling apart. Got to make sure we get some outs here. It's 3:27. We're running out of time. Lone Sofos, wearing a jersey all day is, we can do better than that. That's all I'm going to say. I'll wear a Dallas jersey, and I don't like Dallas, but you know we can do better than that. The face painting was a heck of a lot of fun. I'm just no good at doing that. Like last time when we did the Italian flag, Valeria had painted my face. I can't paint a flag on my own face. I'm not that talented.
I'm talented at most things. I can do it.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do face paint. I'll put the stars on my face. Someone just said you have to grow your hair for a month, and he has to shave for a month.
Grow your hair for a month? Who has to shave?
Sharif, but he already shaved. Shave his head bald?
I still feel like Sharif's growing that thing back and just trying to be undercover about it.
I think so too. I've seen it.
One day he's going to come, but I mean, I think he can grow.
If he would shave his head,
shave this off, and a week later,
if he would shave his head bald, I'll let my hair grow for a couple of months. It's just not going to be as like I'm not going to have like a 1980s Jesse Barfield afro.
If he shaves his head bald, oh wow.
But
I feel like that has to be more than just a regular season game, though.
That's
Buffalo.
The playoffs. If they meet in the playoffs, which would be the Super Bowl,
or you could do it against the spread. I mean, that's the point.
No, it's got to be the spread. It'll be the spread. I'm not gonna force them. The Bills are gonna win.
Yeah.
It'll be whatever the spread happens to be. But
you watch, man. That game's gonna happen. Knock on wood, because like I have Dak, you have Josh. Like I just have a feeling like that game might show up, and maybe all the guys are not benched but sitting because it's what is it?
It's December 17th. So that's like
the second last week.
Second last. Oh, that's a good point.
Might be wrapped up by then. But anyways,
no, that's a good point.
It's about crossing bridges when it's there.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So let's just wait. I'm just thinking ahead. Remember, it's like when you plan your trades, like I'm trying to think ahead. What could go wrong on that bet? And I think it would just
I don't want to be betting on our backup quarterback.
That's the thing. Like no matter the spread, because even if you get bombed, he'll be like, oh, Dallas D, and you'll be like, oh, Nathaniel Peterman or whoever the hell the backup.
No, it's not Peterman anymore. Peterman backs up.
Who? Stroud or something?
He's on the Bears.
Oh, the Bears? So he might be the starting quarterback soon.
Shout out to Nathan Peterman. He's a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
Congratulations
to him
for
the Bills,
that.
then? Is it?
It's the other Allen. It's the Allen.
Not Grayson Allen.
No, the Allen that used to be on the Bengals. I think it's that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Taking care of business. I like that. Taking the Christmas pictures. We'll take embarrassing Christmas pictures and send them out. The only problem with that is we do ugly sweaters here anyways. And I love doing the ugly sweater thing. So that's not even a punishment to me. I'll just do that for fun. A halt here. Okay, I'm gonna mention this, but I'm not trading this. 100 million% I am not trading UTRS. I'm not telling you guys what to do. It has done 93,000 shares on the day. So this is what it was yesterday. Obviously, you have a reverse split. I mean, I'm assuming you have a reverse split without checking the news. I think that's a pretty safe assumption because it was 16 cents and then now it's 320. It just halted to the upside on zero volume. I would short this, but 93,000 shares on volume, you can't get out of this. I mean, even if you just take a couple hundred shares, you're not getting out of that with a reasonable stop. But it is halted, 360 with a 360 tap. Just, again, no volume on that one. I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole, unfortunately. Going back into the overall market, if you got the reload on Google, congratulations. I missed it. I'm still waiting here at 133. It can't even go more than 30, 40 cents at this point. I'm looking for it to get up to this resistance. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to get an offer out there. Forget about it. Might as well just have an offer sitting in front of afternoon resistance just in case we get a push up. Because the way this market's going, you got to take these out. Like, it gets up to that top, it'll probably snap right back down. It is a very range-bound kind of day, so you've got to be playing these scalp trades when they get there. Along this is UTRS, a women's health company. I actually don't know. I just pulled it up because I saw people were mentioning it. I saw it on the scanner. Minerva Surgical, so entirely possible. Sounds like it could be. The float.
They're just asking that because of uterus.
Well, you know what? I should have caught that.
Yeah, well, that's why.
No, but it makes sense actually. Minerva Surgical, yeah, it probably is. The
Could
floats,
be. I mean, it's not like a derogatory word. It's
I mean, I would.
human body.
I feel like if you, based on the symbol, the name of the company, you make that guess, you're right 9 times out of 10. But there was that one name. There was a company that had the most obvious cannabis name of all time. And I remember I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's not a cannabis company. I forget what it was. It might have been Adara. She's saying it was.
Be on your own show, Adara.
Adara can interrupt us anytime she wants, but we have a microphone for that.
Wow, Adara.
It's all good.
She's apologized.
What are you eating?
No, we're just playing around. Yeah, you know what? I mean, the most obvious one of all time was Long Island Iced Tea, because if you don't know that that's a blockchain company, then I don't know what the hell.
What a disaster that was.
Right now, I don't even remember the symbol to even check it out right now.
It was
probably an NFT company now. I have no idea, but
speaking of NFT, did you know NFT?
Get out the weed. I remember when CGC's symbol was weed,
That was so
and it
much
still is on Toronto, because I always stare at those stock certificates that are now worth nothing. So that's pretty cool. Weed is another one, and the other name that is also very similar to what you should do is Affirm. I'm very affirmative that I'll never be investing in that company. So that was another one, and then
Didn't Mike? Hold on a second. Oh, I forgot to ask. All right.
Oh, he got in and out. I already asked Michael.
Yeah, because the 20 to 23 play.
Yeah,
it
he
happened.
got out of 75%
Yes.
of his trade when it hit, and now he's waiting for pass forward today.
Guys, if you're looking at it,
yeah, we should have asked him this morning.
So because the swing idea was essentially like this day, it was like 21 breakout, and then the target was 23. Well, look at it. Like, it broke, and it's like, what do you do when you're a swing trader and makes the entire move in the first 30 minutes at the open?
Right.
So take 70% out is the answer. I think that's a more than reasonable thing.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if you're getting a 21 break and it stalls at 22.50 or 22.60 after 30 minutes of trading, I think you can be happy with that and take it. I think a lot of times when you put a target in there, like, it's a target area, it's not exactly goes to that price. It either gets to 23 or I'm not getting out. If you do that, you're way too binary. And I think you get yourself in trouble if your trading is way too binary. Outs can be binary. Taking profit cannot be. Speaking of such, I cannot say that and not take this out. I'm just gonna get out because I just offered in front of 60 on Google, and then it wicked right to my price level, and I did not get it. But if it follows the pattern, then I'll be happy to take the $0.50. It went the quarter, it went the $0.50. I'm not believing in this market having enough juice at this particular point to break outside of the range. I could be wrong about that. But we'll ring the register. I should have had this reload here when it wicked 133 and came back above. I bid 133 even. I needed to cross up and get 2s and 3s. But it's not a bad one, not a heck of a lot in terms of like massive moves that you're gonna get. So if you can grab like 50 cents this afternoon on Google, great. I'm guessing you could have done the same thing on Apple. Down here, 172.5 and a 173. That's the same thing. I mean, there's your support level. There's your wick underneath. Grab it on the way back. Maybe a little bit better than 50 pennies is what you got now. I know I said this was a good target area for resistance on Apple. I don't think I'd short it if it got there. Not at this point. We just hit 334, and we got the early look. It is 53 million on the imbalance, which is obviously nothing. 50 million share imbalance, that's not going to do anything for us at all. But we are bouncing a little bit to the upside. The buy and bounce has nothing to do with it. I think the futures just hit support. And when I say the futures, I mean the NASDAQ. We hit support, and we're going right up to resistance. That's why I'm getting out of Google. Makes some sense. I'll probably just get out of Rivian as well before this starts following the market. There's no need at all. So, you know, Rivian still holding near the bottom. Maybe I'll just trail it to move the trail to 60s here. If this bounces off the lows, no need to hold it back. If it starts following the market back up, this could get to VWAP as well. So we had the short on the 24 break. This was a lunch money idea, and it is looking like it's going to be a good one. Rivian, to me, let's go back over this. It's failed this breakout from the 50 period today in a big way on deliveries. So if it were to hold underneath the 50 period at some point tomorrow, any trend down takes you into 20 bucks. And we got away from a firm. It's not the 50 period, but 20 is a monster level for a firm. Like, you broke 20, look at the high you made in there, look at the rejection at $25. Then you bounce off 20 again, which is where the breakout was, and then you put a lower high off 23. Okay, you break this 20 to the downside, forget about the 50 period. I'm thinking 200 period moving average on a firm, right? Like, this 50 period's right underneath that 20 level, and that's a flat bottom break at 19. Under 20, I think you start looking short. Under 19, I think you start thinking home run short on that one. I forgot to say something when that stock came up.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Adam and everybody here. Potential bullish support. I mean, look, I've been buying some of these equities over the last week. We talked about Amazon and Oracle as new positions right here. We can go over, I mean, a 60. I mean, this is just a 60. We can look at it for right now. Whether or not you're forming bullish support or not, I mean, I just think that this 14,600, you know, we held it today. We held it on Friday. Well, we didn't hold it today. It didn't get down there. But, you know, we even held the 50-period moving average. I just feel like there was a lot of bad news and a lot of people worried about the end of September, rates getting run away. We had, what was it, a few days in a row of just nonstop upside in the dollar. We had oil breaking 13, 14, 15-month highs. You know, mortgage rates, you know, hasn't been seen these levels in 25 years. And the market's still holding up, right? We're still pretty good, although it was a nasty September down. I think it was 6% NASDAQ, 4.5% or so on the S&P. So definitely a nasty September. But heading into what's been seasonally the strongest period of the year, into the fall, into winter, back into the new year again, I don't, you know, that 14.6, you could just keep playing off that, honestly, if you think that there's something to be worried about. And then we do have coming up on November 1st, of course, we have Fed coming through. We have a big labor data. We have a big labor print happening this week. Friday, I believe it is, right? Non-farm coming out. Then you have more inflation prints. So there are going to be days where we expect sort of ebbs and flows in the market, as there are all the time coming through. So those days are going to be quite interesting. But this is why I feel like the way I'm trading now just is so much better for these markets. And what I get by that is, like, wait for some outstretched movements here. I think we got a good example of that with XOM when it came back up here. Like, that would have, see, like, look, there's a good short, there's a good short, there's a good short. But playing in the middle would have been tough to capture anything. So waiting for VWAP, waiting for high moves to come through. Like someone just said there in the chat, what's up, Steve G? Obviously, it's not someone. Steve G, been here forever, too. SoFi right there, not holding support. So there it goes. So again, another level when you're looking at it, right? So here's SoFi right here. I think you're 100% right, Steve. Now you're starting to break below. So if you're playing this gap fill right there, that gap is, it's not a big one, though. It's just like, this is over the last 2 days. 780. Gap filled to 8, basically. It's only 20 cents, but there it is, filling it. So now I think you can probably go short if you take 775 and then hold it back up here to 8 again on a swing trade, right? Do you get down here to 740? Probably. And then that 740 break gives you more to the downside. But Just like Palantir today, right? Look at that name. That was upside today for a minute and then faded out the rest of the day. It's good. This is one of the negative stocks that we have. But look at this move all the way to the upside there, faded all the way back in, took down the pre-market level, and since then, it's kind of just bouncing off pre-market, bouncing off, and then, you know, heading lower. So if you expand this as well to a bigger time frame, we have that bad wick there, so it's not going to show good. Too bad. It's not going to show good. I'll clean it up by the time we get back. But look at this, 1640, right? Just coming in the last couple of days, same high side. So if you wait for that, sure, you get some days you're going to get blown out, but waiting for key levels, like, you know, Palantir is going to come down here at some point, down to 1570, most likely tomorrow. So wait for key levels to hit in this market. I think you have to be patient, but it's Brendan at the big desk.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
People, let's see one person in the chat, can you asking about Bricken project, some crypto thing. I don't know anything about it, so you're not going to hear me talk about stuff I don't know about. But there was a question from Tisha in the chat about going over Axla. So Axla qualifies as an afternoon runner that under some circumstances, I'd look at a chart like this on the 15-minute and say, hey, how is this any different from the other like consolidation, breakout, all that good stuff that you like? 500,000 shares of volume and almost no liquidity. So the spread is 20 cents as I look at it right now. Oh, there's some size on BNOX. There's 100,000 shares in the offer at $4. I think you said $4.30, but maybe they've walked it down a little bit. But Axla, in terms of volume, look at this. It just broke down. Like, look at the spread. That just opened up to 70 pennies on an $11 stock. 100% no-fly zone stock for me. It's just when if it's not over 1 million shares, when it's that small of a name, you really can't dig into it. Sometimes you can wiggle your way into a trade when it's maybe active in the morning. Like, you might find something in here that you can go long, but I'm staying away from that one with a 10-foot pole. It's just when you see that kind of a spread, understand that if a few people start trading it and then a stop level breaks and there's no liquidity, it just comes down to who gets out first. And you know, I can tell you the story. Like, when I was a young trader, there was one particular trade where it was in my first, maybe my first year or like early into my second year of trading, where I ended up finding out after the fact that when I took my biggest hit, and I thought it was like the worst day ever, that there was a trader trading 10x my size and we're swapping stories, and I exited the trade before he did, and if I had waited around and gotten stubborn about it and that guy who was trading 10x what I was had gotten out before me, I'd have been toast. Like, I might not even be sitting in, like, it was just disaster. I would have taken a much bigger hit. And if you're playing that game where you're trading off of liquidity that's not there, it's just really, really difficult to manage risk. Like, part of risk to reward is I know where I'm getting out, and if I get out, I can reasonably assume I'm going to lose this amount. When you trade Axla, I don't think those assumptions hold because you don't know where you're getting out of 12 breaks. You can think you know where you're getting out. Trust me, you don't know. And if you've ever been on the other end of that coin, it's just something you want to learn from someone else's experience. You never want to be punching into a void. And I think when you trade these, you run into that risk. Knee better not. Okay, I hope it's still going. I just never found my way into knee. Good for it. It's typical SSR bounce off the $50 level. And it looks like it could eventually tape VWAP. And I got out of Google too early, too. Alphabet, it got all the way up to that 133.70. It looks like it's slowing down at that price. I got out there at 50s. Looked like it was turning. At the time, it looked like it was turning as the futures were getting to resistance. Ended up being wrong about that. But with only 15 minutes to go and no imbalance whatsoever, it is time to start getting out of positions. Taking care of business, Michael Jackson. I don't know. That could work too. Maybe if that stock's playing tomorrow, we'll do some. I'll do some of that for you. I'm not screaming knee hard enough. I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to help the stock. If it does, then maybe I'll do it next time. I don't think that's going to help the stock at all. I did want to go over Tesla just very quickly at the end of the day because that market bounce. Look at Tesla off support. You had your pick. Like, Apple gave a bit of a bounce level. Tesla here, Google. Those were pretty much it. You're either hanging on to shorts that worked or you find yourself a couple of dip buy longs. Might not get to that 253, which I thought was going to be the fade level this afternoon. Just never got there. It's the thing about trying to be patient. Now, this is the trade I wanted this afternoon. I think we mentioned that on Lunch Money. If we didn't, apologies, but it never got to that price. Rivian set up for the flat bottom break. Tesla never broke the flat bottom here underneath this 48, and it never got to my 53 level that I wanted to short. So you know what? You don't have to trade it. That's a big thing. You don't have to trade anything that does not set up. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's especially in the afternoon. Neil and I have to be flat at the end of every single day, so that's why I'm starting to clean out everything right now. You're only going to see me in Roblox with only 15 minutes left. We do have imbalances. Neil just talked about that. It's only 53 million shares or 50 million notional to buy. That is sans the NASDAQ name. So we can have a quick look to see what's there. But just so you guys know, we are now almost out of everything. We take more out there on Roblox as we have the high and the low right now of the session. So far, so good. Let's just see if it continues there for Roblox. Hopefully she does come back in. And we are bidding right here, 68, I believe, for our last fill on that one. Okay, so one more talk here quickly was about, what was it about? There was definitely Roblox. I can't remember what else it was. Yeah, I mean, there's always the old usual suspects here that I want to talk about. I'm just looking at my positions here. JP Morgan. Yeah, you know what?
SoFi, maybe?
Let's have a look. We're going to talk about some names that come through for earnings this week. I just looked them up there. Brendan helped me a bit. Tilray's really the biggest name that I feel like most traders will be looking at. This is Wednesday pre-market. We've seen CGC go off a little bit over the last little while there, an offering last week as well. Tilray's seen better days, man. I mean, we were trading this thing north of $3. Now you're at 225 and looking to go lower. We'll discuss this a little bit here on the show in just a couple minutes as we get ready. We're gonna have Adara on today. We'll talk to her. So if you guys are new traders, you want to find out more about Adara and what she's been sort of experiencing so far with her first few days with Sharif on the midday show, that should be a lot of fun. So join me afterwards as we'll talk all about that. We've got some trade reviews coming up as well for today, and then more talk about earnings plays, so on and so forth. Microsoft today, 320. So again, like that 310 held pretty beautifully. And if we had a little bit, I know what it was I want to talk about. But if there was a little bit more time left in the day, you're getting close to looking to test something here. 321 or so here, upside on Softy. Look out for that, 321, 321.50. But again, for me anyways, not worth taking a position. And this is what I wanted to show. It was just the brokers. So I wanted to show you what is creating this imbalance. So every day, Neil and I will get it from Financial Juice. Brendan will give it to us. You guys can go get it as well. Not associated with these numbers and not responsible for when they come out. But right now from our broker, we are getting these imbalances. So you can see like Enbridge right now with a small sell imbalance. Not really affecting the stock. I mean, the market's just moving around. So all of these orders are going to get executed at the closing print. So they're market on close orders. They go into this facility so that they can get paired off with limited market impact, right? So the specialist or the direct market maker that would be in charge of Enbridge right now is sitting on an order of 1.5 million shares to sell. So they'll fill that from their own inventory and they'll look on the street to see if there's anybody else that wants to take the other side. And if he has somebody else, they may just print that now and get it over with, and then he'll say, okay, I'll give you guys together whatever that closing print is. I'll just print it off for 3 million shares, 1.5 each, or well, you're gonna get the sell, I'm gonna take the buy. So there's gonna be the print on that. So I guess it's just gonna be 1.5 million shares. Or if there's something left over, that's where it gets interesting right there at the close, because if they're unable to find any interest, sometimes that will come in the last couple seconds and you'll be able to pair it off, or you won't, which would create a little bit of a liquidity vacuum in Enbridge's case to the downside. So I don't really see, okay, Smile Direct.
Yuck.
Yeah, I mean, 51 million shares. It is yuck, Neil, but honestly, man, it's not really
No, the stock.
Yeah, it's, what is it doing?
It
down
bounced,
62% today. So that's with the sell imbalance, but yeah.
I might
have your own sort of look at that one.
Well, I said this morning that if before this eventually possibly goes under, or goes to the OTC, if before that there's a test of like the 10-cent level, Like, that's just a trade
see that happen.
I probably like. If it gets to 10 cents, Mullen was at 20 cents and made a really, really nice move. Like I think it was like the second to last time it got to 20 cents, because it's been at 20 cents like 3 times in the last few years. But that was a good bounce. I think Smile Direct could be the same kind of temporary relief rally. Sometimes when they go to the OTC market, it makes a bit of a bounce play, and you can see some shorts want to cover. I mean, they got to win somehow. Right? Like, sometimes it goes to 0, other times people want to take the cover when they get it. And it's just nasty for Smile Direct. I only have Rivian, so with 30 seconds to go till the imbalances hit, I have a trailing stop in here at 1360. We'll get out of that one. We shorted that 24 level when it came in, but the imbalances, I feel as if there's a decent chance that it could be, it's not going to be 53 million to buy, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was something to the buy side, just given the way this market's been range bound, and we're up 0.5% here, bouncing off these lows once again. So it's been a fun one, to be sure. We ain't done just yet, because we have the after show coming, and we have these imbalances dropping any second now. Let's have a look-see to see if there's anything interesting here. Sometimes you get big movers, not a guarantee, but on a day like today, you'll take whatever you can get. We've seen TLT a few times here, 1.5 million to sell. You already mentioned some of the early looks there. I don't know, PRM, 1.5 million, that's a $4 stock, so who cares? Not really seeing anything big. Series, a cheap stock for $1 million, that's still a $4 stock, so it's nothing. BAC's $1 million buy. It's not really that big. Micron's 850,000 to buy. That's odd. I don't usually see that one have an imbalance. I'm not seeing any of the big cap tech names here. AMD. AMD's small cell, yeah.
Yeah, same as Google.
Maybe Micron could be something.
Brennan, 1.1, a milli, not a billy. 1.1 billion to sell on the sell side there. There's Google, but again, look, like I'm just highlighting it to you so you could see not much really happening to the stock despite a small sell imbalance. Enbridge probably, reacted a little bit, but not really because we saw it before. AMD, Neil, I'm just going, I know Neil mentioned the names. I'm just trying to go over them to show you that this is not like the be-all, end-all kind of a number. Microsoft with a bid, maybe that seems to be going upside, but again, look at Microsoft 1.5% today to the green side, so we definitely like that. We wanted Microsoft today at 310. Yeah, don't we all want it down there? It didn't come in, so that's a hard pass because no trading opportunities if it's not there. Yeah. And then real quick, man, we are very, very close. There it is. Did we get it? Did we get it? Did we get it? We're at 68 on our, there it is. We just get Roblox right there for 27 cents, so we'll cash it out. And look what I said, man. Remember when we talked about Roblox and kind of the levels that we were sort of concerned with right there? Well, look what just came in, right? So there it is. Finally, at the end of the day, we get that fill. So it's going to look bad because why don't we just wait for it all the time? But hey, we didn't know that was coming through. Just comes into the end of the day. There's a good trade for you. One in, numerous outs. Take it as you please. We are now out of Roblox and looking pretty good right now for that trade. So that's that one. And yeah, now we're pretty much out of everything. So
I have like 4 scripts out here.
Yeah, I was going to say, there you go. Good call. Cancel my Roblox script. And what Neil means by a script there is just, of course, that we will have various orders out waiting to get filled, right? And some of those orders will fill, some of them won't, and then we have to cancel them at the end of the day. So my script that I just had to cancel was the Roblox script.
Well, the reason for this, and so I'm short Rivian here at 24. Let's say I have a stop at 23.60. If I get manually out, I still have to manually cancel that script. We have some script orders that we'll cancel. Other ones, it's a different type of script that we might use where you have to cancel manually. So if Sean has a 29 stop, when you take profit, if it never gets to the price that stops you out, you do have to manually get rid of it. Which is important at the end of the day. You know, I don't want Brankles yelling at me, you have a script order out. And then you don't want to be caught getting a position.
Is that how Brankles yells? I was wondering about that.
It's kind of like that.
He sometimes yells that to me too. Yeah.
I know, but it's just a housekeeping. I saw in the chat, and not every day is going to be a fantastic or unbelievable day. Like to me, Friday was better than today, and it's an easy one for why, I would say. It has a lot to do with, Rivian is a bit of a culprit here. Like, the short was good, but it wasn't very clean for me on the long this morning. So while there was a good chance to catch that bid, I did stop out twice while trying to get that long. It just wasn't necessarily patient enough. Like, it's a very different kind of day if you hit this one a little bit more clean. But that's how it's going to be. And then I wasn't aggressive enough on Femi. I was looking home run on Femi today. And when I look back and think about it, I sat down and was like, buy the dip, right? Like, you heard, how many times did you hear me say, dip, buy these stocks, don't try and take breakouts, right? And this is me on Femi trying to grab that magic when if you look at the patient dip buy off the previous high, there's your nice little long. There's your 50-cent move on a $3 stock. It's just a bit of a patience game. Femi was great, and I think being a little bit too aggressive with it is another reason. So it'll be green, but I'm not happy with the execution on particularly two names. Rivian, for sure, that was a tricky one this morning. Could always be done better. But Femi's the one I'll be the most upset about. Because I know the score. When you stair step up, you want resistance turning into support. Buying the dip on these small caps has been a safer and more profitable way the last year. Back in 2020, everyone was making money on breakouts and small caps, and sometimes it's the way to go. That has not been the best trade for these small cap runners. It's been patiently waiting for it to make a bottom at a support level and then grabbing that. You got 20% out of that on Femi if you were able to wait. We got about 15 seconds and we get 355 when those tiny imbalances will probably pair off. Not that they always do. Hampton's trader, Femi is going to run up post-market because he needs to trade pre and post. Well, I'll join you. We can't trade pre and post on these names, but it could.
Pre, but not.
Well, sorry, we can trade pre. We just can't trade post. Some people, if your broker doesn't allow you to trade pre-market, then trading some of these runners can be tricky if you're trying to swing them. I would never suggest, I'm not telling people to swing trade these stocks, but if you're trying to swing these, a lot of times when they gap up, sometimes your best exit's in the pre-market to be able to take profit. So the inability to do that is a big problem for swing trading some like 2 million float or 3 million float stock. Personally, I wouldn't do it because you don't want this stock making a ridiculous high at 8:30 and you can't get out till 9:30. Well, the entire move could be gone by then. And I think that's just way too much risk. So the ability to trade pre-market for some of those runners is pretty big. Hey, Peloton might get through the high of the day. I think we set this one up for a break tomorrow. Obviously, you could break today's high, this double top, which is a little bit of a triple top and a huge gap. If it breaks in the next few seconds, well, obviously I'm not taking that long. But if it breaks 540 tomorrow morning, then I'm down for that trade. As you can see here, there's your gap up, Lulu. Then the next day, 540 high, 540 high to 541 high today, distinction without a difference. And you're grinding into a breakout. I tried to dip buy, got a little bit of a scalp trade, then got underneath break even. But I do like this setup. It's a big, heavily shorted name that had a great catalyst last week. Now it just needs to follow through.
All right, it's not too much more here left. It's 3:56. It's been good, and all has been well. So yes, that I guess that could work, Brendo. There. All right, so let's continue. Oh, no, nothing. I just was wondering if I was going to get a fill here. And Brendan's like, well, I can trade over there as getting prepared for the close. But we still have a little bit of time left here. Only a couple more minutes until the closing show. But yeah, there's going to be a few good things we're going to talk about there today. So get ready to join me, and we'll have some fun heading into the close, that is for sure. So, okay, here we go. I'm ready to rock and roll now. I'm gonna head over there. Your NEE.
I had to. Every time I pull the stock up, I got to say "nee," and then it goes higher. See, it works. Congratulations to everybody on that.
What's up with that? Why does everybody want you to say that?
Oh, it's just it's the Monty Python thing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it. Sean's never seen The Quest for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have, but
You have?
definitely
Okay.
not.
Well, watch it again.
Marissa loves Monty Python.
The kids will love that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think so. I think they would. I think that's a fantastic. I don't know what Brendan's. What, Brendan? Okay, whatever. Brendan's he just said 100% not to something, which he says no to pretty much everything.
Oh, he has not seen it.
Of course, Brendan has never seen Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail.
Ouch,
Really?
Brendan.
That's a classic. It's an absolute classic. John Cleese, those
Yes.
guys are
I know.
freaking hilarious.
And there's that song that she loves about the world and the stars aligning. What is that song? Oh my God. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble from the wife here today. I'll sing it for you.
No,
guys
you're
tomorrow.
not getting in trouble.
No, I never do.
What was I going to say? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I was going to say. Back to VWAP. That's your SSR bounce play of the day. Brendo watches the market, not movies. Hey.
That's right.
There's no better person following and watching the market. If you've ever sat at that desk, Sharif has, I've done it before. There's a lot to scan to make sure you get all the breaking news and get it right which is something we pride ourselves on here. It ain't about being first, it's about getting it right. If you're gonna start trading on news, you don't wanna worry about the person that just wants to be out there first, because if you get it wrong and you punch long, you get absolutely hoodwinked up there. Always look at the bright side of life. That's the name there, Todd Heath. Steve G, you're Canadian. Shouldn't it be Ni-A? Nah. I mean, I still say Z,
Alrighty
not
then.
Z. My wife gives me a hard time over that. I just feel like I learned the rhyme like everybody else, man. So it's Y and Z. Technically, we're supposed to say Z here. My father-in-law is like a stickler. Like, he says zebra all the damn time, and I'm like, it's zebra. And now my daughter says zebra because she loves granddad too much. But we have 30 seconds to go for this end of this Monday. It should be an interesting week. You gotta be patient. You gotta find the key levels. That's what we're here doing. Adara is gonna be on the bell. I'm gonna make the assumption because she's back and forth behind me a few times there. And like I said, don't go anywhere, because at 4 o'clock, Adara is going to actually be on the show with Sean. So she's going to do double duty here. Ringing the bell, get the camera off my mug, get it back on while we watch the VIX. And in 4, 3, 2, and ring it. Well, that's not the VIX. That is whatever. Brennan's looking at better for some reason, BTTR. Now we can see whatever symbol he is. The market is closed. The market is up on the day, almost a full percent. That was a heck of a move to the upside right there at the end of the day. I don't think I gave it enough credit. Just to give you some context, Google actually got to 134.20, so it made it all the way into the high of the day, up 2.5%. Apple closed up 1.5%. Very, very impressive. Want to give a shout out not just to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s who've been working on that green screen all day long. Mark helping out. You've seen what we're able to do. Every day we try to get bigger and better for you on the show to make sure you enjoy it. A fantastic job as always from Obi and Sharif in the midday, and Adara doing a great job as well. You're going to see her on the recap show with Sean in just a few seconds. So for myself, for Sean, for Brennan, we're Trade TV Live, but you're not going anywhere. Let's get that recap show going. Sean's at the desk.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm just logging into Twitter over here to make sure that we have everything popping off for you. Thank you so much for joining the market recap show. And I was just talking with Brendan.